that have been taking us. Right? Okay, Adedayo, can you answer me if you're on this call? Or Alaba?
Oh, yes, I'm on this call, yes.
Okay, so that's fine. My name is Akinbola. I'll be taking us on this last session, right, as rightly said. And I think today we are going to be talking about test summary report or test reporting, as it were. So I'm going to share my screen in a bit so that we can start immediately. So let me turn off this camera. Then I share this. Please confirm you can see my screen, right? So let me just take this to a slideshow. Sorry, I will need someone to confirm, please.
Your screen is up.
Okay. So welcome to day 7, right? And this I'm sure that this should be our last week, if not the last class, but at least this weekend should be the last week. We've gone through this the software testing fundamentals, and I'm sure that we've our facilitator that have taken us on this have done great and good job, because we are going to be building on all these things that they have taken us on from the week 1 up to today. Okay, so at the end of this week 4, right? So these are the deliverables that is expected: test summary reports, text management, and we are having a Q&A. So as I said earlier, we are going to be dealing with test reporting, and I'm sure before now we must have dealt with a test plan, right? And test planning, then what test plan it's all about. So now we are moving to the reporting part, right? So reporting is just telling you, you know, when they say report card, right, at the end of a term or a session, report card means that, okay, we've done something for this student, and we are coming up with a summary of what the guy has done over the period of 3 months he has been in this class, and that's why we have a report card. So if I can link that to what reporting is in testing, right, you are communicating or you are telling us what exactly has happened during your execution phase of your testing life cycle, right? And also note that this reporting, I think, is the last what's it called now? Is the last process in the testing life cycle. So basically, in my definition, that as we can see, is summarizes and communicates test information during and after testing. So as I've said earlier, that is just you are communicating what has been done during your testing phase to your stakeholders, right? Basically, your stakeholders can be the project managers, your dev guys, your QA lead, your QA manager, the executives, or the people you are working for. So we have 2 major test reporting. We have the test progress reports or execution reports, right? And this can be done daily or weekly or bi-weekly, however you want to structure it. It's just to tell us how the testing is going, right? So we are giving an application to test or something to work on. It's on your table. You prepare your test plan. You prepare your test cases, and in your test plan, you've highlighted that, okay, you are going to have like 200 test cases, and you've highlighted that, okay, for each day we are going to be executing 10 or 20 test cases per day based on the resources that is available in the QA team to work on this and what have you. So at the end of each day, it's expected that you have a progress report. Okay, at the end of today, we're able to execute the normal 20 test cases that are assigned for the day. However, we have some defects. These are low, defects are high, some are critical. You know, you batch. So you are trying to give a progress report of what has happened on a daily basis concerning that testing you are doing. And as I said earlier, the test progress report can be daily, can be weekly, can be bi-weekly until you finish that project, so to say. So it all depends on the organization you are working with, or it all depends on your stakeholders, if they want it every day or if they want it weekly or bi-weekly. So going with what is here is just the process of tracking, measuring, and communicating the current status of testing activities during the software projects, right? So during test monitoring and control, the test team generates the test progress report for stakeholders to keep them informed. Test progress reports are generated on a regular basis. So like I said earlier, consistency is the key, right? If you want to be doing daily, then you must make sure that every day, at the end of the day, it's not that you need to rush home. Even if you are rushing home, make sure that your template is available just to choke in some of those metrics and make sure that a report is being sent out at the end of the day. But if you want to choose weekly, also know that every Friday or every Monday morning, you are supposed to send a report on how the testing is going. It's just a way of communicating. And I'm sure that one of the quality of a quality assurance engineer is communication. And I'm sure that you must have been told in the first week, that's one of the qualities of a QA. You need to know how to communicate. You need to know how to translate what you have written down your test cases as a metrics to your stakeholders, so that they can understand what you're doing and understand the work you are putting into executing that project. So items that can be seen or that is expected to be in a test progress report. So, okay, let me also say this before we move deeper. When you're talking reports, right, reporting, it differs from organization to organization, right? But on a norms or on a basis, or I would say on the standard basis, right, is just to have most of these things highlighted in your report. So organization A can tell you that, okay, they want more details of what exactly happened, and as you're highlighting your bugs or defects in this report, I also tell us, is this bugs actually for front end devs or the back end guys, or who is to fix this? Who are we to follow up? Is it infrastructure issue and what have you? So some organizations actually need those information. Why some they just need you to give us numbers, assign metrics to what you're telling us, so that I can relate. If you are 20% or if you are 40%, I can know how to manage the expectations of our end users, and the release dates can be moved forward or can still be certain or can be shifted backward and what have you. So it depends on organization, but in all, some things are needed or expected to be in the report, either the test progress or the completion report, right? So one of those things is the test period. You in your test plan, you are expected to put when you are supposed to start that test and when you expected to finish, right? You are given your duration of 2 weeks and what have you, and you are still working with that 2 weeks. As you're giving your progress report, you are giving an expected completed date, and there's a test progress. The test progress is also showing you the percentage of test case planned and what you have executed, and the ones you've completed and the outstanding, right? In your test plan also, the test case plan, what is it called? The test case is that test plan, right? So you are going to give us the percentage of what you planned and what you have executed, and also standing for each day. Then what is actually blocking you from testing the other ones? Is there any major blockers? Is there something that you need to escalate us at that time so that it will not impede? So you also expect to put in that. Then your test metrics, like I mentioned earlier on, it translates whatever you have written down, your test cases in whatever you have done, into a metrics that people can relate with. You can use your bar charts, your pie charts, those representative diagram, just to make sure that, okay, this is pictorial view of what you have. Then delay test status, the ones that are opened, the ones that have been closed, the defect issues and whatever. So this is an example of what an overview progress report should look like. When I was saying the metrics and what have you, if you can, I'm not too sure that this thing is clear, but you can see very well at the right hand side there is a pie chart. Pie chart also shows the issues reported, those pending, the ones that are in progress, the one that's passed, the one that's failed, the one that blocked because of one issue or the other. Also, the detailed report is now showing, okay, these are the test case itself, then the status of it, if it has passed or is blocked. Then if you raise bug concerning that, you can also put the bug ID there. Then also, based on the bug, you give the priority and the severity, if it's low, if it's high, if it's critical. So those are the things that are needed, and all the other numbers that I need to put, the total pass, the total field, is this number at your left screen that is giving this, that is being translated to this pie chart at the other side of what you see now. So the other part of test reporting is test summary reports. So, like I said, differs from organization to organization. You can get another place, they'll call it test completion report, summary report, test completion report, TCR or TCR or TSR. It means the same thing. Progress reports is the one you are giving on a daily basis as how your testing is going. Then this summary report is now the one you are giving at the end of the project, right? Project supposed to span for 3 months or 1 month, as it were, and we are giving, okay, every day daily report, right? Progress report, daily report, and at the end of the 1 month, you know that you are done, and you know your exit criteria also in your test plan. In test plan that we have discussed, week 1 or week 2, right? There are entry criteria and exit criteria. So once you see that you have met all your exit criteria, then you are ready to prepare your test summary report. So it's a report prepared during test completion when a project or test level or test type is complete and exit criteria has been met. Exit criteria are the ones you stated in your test plan. So that's why you have to take your test plan very seriously so that it will not impair you when you're doing your reporting. Then your typical test and completion report should have a summary of what you have done, then the evaluation of the application or the product. Then that actually at some point in time, there may be times you have to deviate from what you have planned. Maybe what's it called? Maybe the scheduling, right? The scheduling, maybe the resources, maybe some test cases that you imputed in your test plan. At the end of the day, you find out that they are not applicable at this point, or maybe it was backed out to phase 2 or to other phase. Those are the deviations from your test plans. So you state them also out in your report. Then the blockers that you have, the impediments that you have during this summary report, because this summary report is not like summary of all what that transpires during the testing phase, right? All of that transpired when you're executing from test case 1 to test case 200, right? All what that transpired, the blockers that you had, how you're able to work around it, what you are able to come up with to resolve the blockers, or who resolve the blockers for you, and the test metrics based on the progress reports. So because of the reports you've been given every day, you are supposed to have a metric, at least for the last one that is being sent, to transfer it into the completion report. Then also the lesson length. There's supposed to be a session for lesson length. So how defects were fixed, what issue that arose between the QA and the dev, how you're able to convince the dev that this is actually a bug, how you're able to convince the product owner that this is not a good requirement, all those things that are supposed to be also written in your completion report. Okay, then if you go through this, they say the summary, the purpose of summary reports, right, is to communicate what has been tested. how it was tested and the outcome. Like I said earlier before now, the main objective of this summary report or the completion report is just to tell you, is to tell us, the stakeholders, which might be your project managers, your dev, your lead, your manager, the executives, whoever that is interested in that work you are doing, is just tell us all what that transpired during that phase. The software development life cycle. There is a testing phase, right? So it's just tell us all what that transpired in that testing phase. Exactly. So what was tested, how it was tested, the outcome, then evidence of you that you have covered the test coverage. I think that's where the traceability matrix also comes in. While you are tracing all your requirements to your test cases, just tell us that you've been able to cover all the requirement that has been given to you as QA. And then it also helps the stakeholder to decide whether the product is fit for release and is fit for use or not. Because if your summary report is telling us that you still have some bugs or some critical issues that the product owners are advised that we move to the next phase, or it will be taken care of in the next phase, then we need to be sure that the products or system we are pushing out is of good quality and is also ready for end users to actually use. Okay, so the steps in test reporting. So because of how you've been doing your daily report and what have you, you have to consolidate all the test results that I have. At some point, by the time you are retesting some bugs, you come back to do a regression part and what have you. So consolidate all the test results that you have. Evaluate the test coverage. That's why I always try to advise that please all take your traceability matrix very seriously. So that by the time you are trying to check your requirements from the documents given to you and the test cases you've been able to generate from that requirement, you've been able to build a test coverage, and you can see that you have 100% coverage of all the requirements that have been given to you. Then you analyze your test metrics. It's okay. It's okay to give us the metrics or the numbers, translate into pictorial view where we have the bar chart, we have the histogram and what have you. But sometimes just give a 1 or 2 line on what this what's it called now, on what these metrics and the pictorial view actually saying, even if it's a 1 line or 2 lines, so as to know that okay, yes, we can relate with what is on the previous session of your report. So then after that, then you prepare your test report and you present your test report. As I said, it all depends on organization. Your test report might actually even have to go through review before being sent out to the stakeholders, and some they may not be need to go through review. They just need that's your concurrence from you that, oh yes, you are done, and just allow us to move forward. So also in your test summary report or test completion report, test objective needs to be stated, the areas you covered and the ones you are unable to cover, right? Then defect report. I'm sure that we've been taught the defect report and the defect life cycle, right? So also, I'm sure that defect report is supposed to be in a separate document. So there's supposed to be a way for you to link that document in your reporting also. Then the testing approach. What approach did you use in testing this? Did you use your API, any of the testing approach that has been taught? Which one did you use? Then the platform details. What exactly the browser you use? If it's web, if it's mobile, what kind of what's it called, version, and what have you. Every other information on that platform is also needed in your reporting. I think there is a sample one that I will also show you. So before we go to that sample, there's a structure in which I've been shared here that so the way you are supposed to structure your TCR or TSR, as it were, and as I've said, it differs from organization to organization. But once you have the basis, what is expected in a report, you can actually write on those and going forward. So you need to include your report ID, the version number, date of preparation, and the author's details, which is you, the QA, that have actually work on that. So an example is this TCR, that is the test summary report of this banking app, release 3.0, and the version is version 1.0, which has been prepared on this date. Then the summary of testing activities also, as like I said earlier on, which is these test objectives needs to be there. That's the purpose, and it shows the test objects and the requirements were clear with the testing. If you put the objective here, you just show that you that have tested that project or that application, or exactly what the requirements were at before starting. Then the test items, right? You list the system used, the features you tested, the modules that tested, all of that. And I'm sure that something like that is also in the test plan. If it was also shared, features to be tested, features not to be tested, and what to do. So also in this, then you put your references, provide your traceability to key documents such as the master test plan, test design specification, the test procedures, and the requirements. So also, like I said in one of the sessions, that there may be, yes, the deviation from your test plan. So which might be like a variance, right? So there should be a section in your report that's supposed to highlight the variances that you encountered during the testing. So a deviation from the original test plan. Like I said earlier, schedule variance. Maybe there was a delay in execution due to environment unavailability, or maybe a bug was raised and it was left unattended to for like 2 days or 3 days, which has delayed when you are supposed to deliver this project. Then the scope variation, the features that were excluded, that they were moved to MVP2 or the phase 2 of this, just because there are no resources or maybe data is not available to validate that. Then environment issues, you have problems with your test data, you have problems with your servers or tools, and actually impacted your execution. So sometimes you have to slow down to make sure that all these things are actually looked into before you now give the summary report. Then process variation also. So any changes that you made to your test design and the execution approach. Also, another part that's supposed to be in your test summary report is the comprehensive assessment. Comprehensive assessment. You evaluate the extent of the test coverage and the completeness of the test effort. So here you are going to state, okay, assessment. When this project was planned, it was planned with 200 test cases, and which cover all the requirement that was given. Just to show that there was a test coverage, and out of the 200 test cases, 150 we were able to test 150 for the first cycle, right? Thereby raising a couple of defects which are supposed to be resolved. It was retested, the regression was done, which moved to this. 3 were backed out because of test data, because of environmental issues, because of this, because of that. We are giving all the extent of the completeness of what you have done. So the stakeholder that is reading it will appreciate the effort of you, the QA, that you have put into that project at that time. The coverage that you have achieved. If there's any risk, right, you state also also on this assessment session. Then the limitation, document reasons why 100% was not achieved. As I've said, maybe it was backed up by the what was it called? The product owner said, "Oh no, this is not available now," or the dev guys that is supposed to do this is not available. So let's move to the next phase. Or there's no test data. All those kind of things that can actually pop out because they really want to go live at this date. So all those things that are giving issue, they may say, you know what, let's pack them to phase 2. Let's go live with this one. Then we'll come back and fix and do a regression on this thing and what have you. So you put them there also that just stated in the document, but you're able to test just because of this and this. Then the risk assessment, comment on residual risk due to the uncovered area. So because you're able to test this, you're supposed to put the risk assessment also there that it should be noted that this was not tested and it should be recommended for a control live testing or a pilot testing before opening up to the whole public for general use or end users, so to say. So also another session that's supposed to be your summary report or completion report is summary of your test results. So still, you are now giving a quantitative overview of all your testing outcomes, right? The total number of planned tests and what was executed, what was passed, what was failed, what was blocked, what was moved, what was moved to the next phase, Then the defect analysis. How many defects were you log? How many defects were you able to log during the testing? Then how were they distributed, by severity, and what was their status as at the time you are closing this project? So to say, if you have any outstanding, you list them and you state, like the way we did for the risk assessment in the other session, you list them and also put the impact also that this and this and this that were not resolved, this and this can be the impact at the end of the day on our end users. Another session that should be in your report is evaluation, right? An objective assessment of the product quality. That's this a simple definition of what evaluation is under your report. So quality of the test items, you describe the system stability, the functionality, maturity, and different density throughout your testing. How often were you getting defects, right? How often were the defect being resolved? And the defects, are they major? Are they just minor things? So that you can know that, okay, the quality of work that was being given to Ross from the dev team is not of good quality, right? Just because of, if I can pick an issue as simple as login issues, right? So it's not, that should be the first thing that should even be that should go through in such a way that I should enter the application to test. If I can't log in, so what am I even doing with what we have delivered? So it's just, that's also the states the stability or the quality of work that has been done. Then the exit criteria review. Remember, you have predefined that in your test plan, so you have to review it again as a just to be sure that all has been met. And risk to release, then provide a clear indication if the product is fit for release from a QA perspective, considering unresolved issues, right? So you put the risk also there. There are some companies that if you work with, they will tell you that okay, before they start that project, they will have gone around to ask for timelines from the dev, the QA, and everyone that will be working on that project. So you gave let's say you gave it 10 days, and after the 10 days you have some unresolved issues and what have you, but the date has been set. So whatever you have after that time, whatever bugs that have not been resolved and what have you, you pack everything and you put them in this report, and you state the risk of the risk the company will face or the organization will face if this is being released to the end users out there based on what issues that you're having. Also, another session is expected of you is the summary of activities and efforts, right? It covers the resource utilization and the effort metrics. Remember, you also mentioned in your test plan that okay, the resources that are going to use and the efforts. So now you are coming to your report, to your summary report, just to do an analysis on the were on this project at the end of the day, how many hours did you spend per day on this project? We are supposed to use the 12 days. We are supposed to use 12 days. At the end of the day, because of defect resolution, because of absenteeism of one person, or because one person was not available, was sick, and what have you, we end up spending 15 or 30 days. Those effort analysis are also there. Activity summary, the time spent on planning, execution, and reporting, and the resource usage, number of testers involved, then the tools that were used, the environments deployed, and the test data that was also used. All this also are expected to be in your reports. As I said earlier, and I'll still repeat it, reporting differs from organization to organization, right? In as much as this is expected in your summary report, some organization may just want you to just give us summary of what you have done. You have tested on, you have 100 test cases, you're able to test 90. The 10 is the 10 remaining are not because of this, and then as you recommend it for pilot testing, or you take the risk of them releasing it. That is it. That's what they need. And maybe a pictorial diagram and what have you, simple and short. Why some organizations want you to break all this down so as to understand what they are putting their signature into, and to understand what is being released to their end users. Image of the company is actually very, 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 very critical. So it all depends on where you find yourself. Then the last session of your of your report, of your summary report or completion report, should be the approvals, where people will sign, where the stakeholders, not people, sorry, where stakeholders will sign off. After going through everything, you've stated your risk, you've stated your risk to release, your risk assessment and everything. They have read it, they agree with what you have written, and then the what's it called, signature of those stakeholders actually needed. You have sometimes your test manager, your team lead, your QA lead, your project manager, business owner, stakeholders will sign. But the critical one that I know that is very, very, very important is your stakeholders and your test manager. They must have gone through your documents and be sure that this is okay, and business owner or the stakeholder or the product owner are comfortable with what you are stating in all your reports. The issues you've highlighted, everything you highlighted, they are comfortable, so they can append their signatures and date it. Okay, so there is a sample here that has been given to us. Let me try and see if I can get that sample here. Okay, yes. Don't switch. I'm not sure I can. Let me see if I can share. Oh no. So I'm sure you can still see my screen. Okay, so this is a sample test summary report or test completion report of an online banking application and version 3.0. So the quality text, right? Then some test summary reports that then the online banking is the name of the project. As I said earlier on, you have your report ID based on what you have in your organization. You have the report ID, the version of what you're giving, because you are writing this report for the very first time. It's going to be version 1.0. If you submit it to your QA lead, test manager, and he or she added another session to it, or he told you to go and amend 2 or 3 sessions, your product owner also said, no, I can't take this, amend this session, amend that session. As at that time you're amending it, the version has moved to another version. You have your first version, which you prepared. The second version, based on the amendment that has been done by another person, or that was proposed for you to do, is another version. So that can also move to version 2.0 or if you like, you can do 1.1. Then the date, then who prepared it. We said author then, right? So moving to, I'm sorry, it's raining here. So if you cannot, I'm sure you can still hear me. I'll try as much as possible to raise my voice. So like I said earlier on, the first session is the identifier, which is also on the first page. Then the second session is a summary of the testing activities, what the objectives of the testing that we just did, the test items, right? The features that were tested, and also the references that you have. I'm sure that definitely you have your test plan, because you have to create a test plan. Then your specification document that I was given to you, requirement documents that I was given to you, and what have you can be part of your references. Then the variance, like I said earlier on, what was in your test plan, was the same thing that you did all through your execution phase, right? If not, state what and what was it called? What and what varied from what you have there under this variance session. Then also the comprehensive assessment, right? The requirement coverage, you're able to test 115 out of the 125 requirements. That's a 92% of your test cases, right? Then the risk coverage, you have your 95, the code coverage. So the limitations, what are the limitations that you encounter during the testing? Then the summary of the results, as it were. As I said earlier on, you have your plans, you have executed cases, and what passed, what failed, and what test cases were blocked, and which one were moved to the next phase, skipped or moved to the next phase. Then the defects that were found, and you log them, the severity that you gave to it, and the status of this defect at the time you are closing this project. Then outstanding defects are there if you have. So it's not necessary that you must have something under all these outstanding defects, right? You can put new, maybe all your defects have been resolved by the time you are having this report. Then the evaluation, you're evaluating the quality of the test items, the exit criteria review, right? So the release recommendation, condition goal release can proceed if the critical distance is resolved. Then you move to your picture analysis. From there, you can have your, your pie chart, histogram, bar chart around here. Then also the summary of the activities, right? The effort analysis. This was what was planned, and this was what we actually used at the end of the day for the testing phase. Then the activities that were done during the testing life cycle, right? At some point you plan, at some point you analyze the requirements, at some point you design your test cases, at some point you did your execution. So the activities that were done throughout the testing life cycle will be put also on there. Then the resources, the tools, the environment you use. Then, as I said earlier on, the approval. After all this has been done, the approval needs to be input or append their signatures, as the case may be. Then the test execution results at the end of the day. Then we have the defect severity distribution also. So these are all the pictorial diagrams of everything that we've highlighted in that place. Let me see if we still have anything left in mind. Okay, so that does it. I hope I was not too fast, and I hope we've gotten one or two things. So now, any questions? And I hope I was not talking to myself.
You were not talking to yourself.
Thank you. So any questions on test reporting as a whole, the progress, the completion, or summary reports? Any question, please?
Okay, good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Sorry, so before you proceed, I think Kadishola's hand was raised first.
Oh, sorry,
Then
I
you
didn't
can,
see the hands. Let me
okay,
just.
you can go after Adeshola.
Yeah, good afternoon, Mr. Akinbola. Thank you very much for a World Park section. But at the beginning of the section, I was kind of a little bit confusing when you are saying you. So when you're using you, I was thinking you are referring to the design the text summary reports. But at the end of your discussion, I was able to understand that the text summary reports is not handled by a single individual. Rather, it's the standard QA documents formats that literally evolve as part of the software testing best practice. That's the feedback for this section. Thank you very much for helping me out with my ambiguity. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Thank you, Adeshola, and I'm glad that you're able to to get the last part. So, well, thank you. I guess that is noted. So, Chinonso, right?
Yes, please. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Akinbola. It was really, really a wonderful session. It was really packed. Too many information to soak in at the same time. But at least, yes, I've learned a lot. I picked out some few things. So I just wanted to add, not really a question, but just to confirm if the templates can be shared with us so we can go through them again and digest what we've learned.
Yes, I think it should be shared. Adenike, is that correct? Hello, Nike.
I think Nikki has issue with her network. So that's the practice. Since the beginning of the section, it should be shared.
Okay. So it will be shared. That's
Okay, thank you.
yeah. So okay, Adeshola again.
Yeah, sorry, I'm thinking in my head and I want to get a clarity. Like the whole text summary reports, is it the same thing you are sharing with those that have the QA? That's the same report that will be shared with the stakeholders, owing to the fact that they may not be able to understand some terminologies that is being used by the QA. It's the same reports shared by the share and as well as those who have the technical know-how of the text reports.
Yes, so like I said earlier, test summary report is a document that states or that has everything that transpired during the testing or during the testing phase of the software development life cycle. The same report you share with your QA view. And that's why we have different sessions where you have to break some things down. You have to like there is a test metrics or the assessment report where you are going to state, okay, these are the test cases and these are the past cases, these are the failed cases. Okay, at some point in the testing, we have these issues with 1, 2, 3, but it was fixed. Though these were actually very severe and what have you, but it was fixed and was retested. Then, if they were not fixed, right, that's where you have your risk assessments, your go release assessments. So, is in that session that the stakeholders or the product owners will understand if this product is actually ready, if it's actually ready for the end users to be using. So definitely the same documents that you're sharing with your QA lead to review is the one you're sharing with your stakeholders and your whoever that is interested in the report actually. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much for the clarity.
Thank you. So do you have any other question? Is Adenike back on the call? It's as if it's my own session that is very simple. Is it simple and very straight to the point? Just one hour we are done.
No, they've been learning for the past weeks, and I want to believe that some people read more. Maybe they read ahead of the class. But your presentation was explanatory enough. So maybe that's why. Or maybe they're not really into it today. But they know they can always ask questions.
Yes,
Finances
you
and
can
this
always ask
specific
questions.
one.
Yeah. And I think I've been added to the WhatsApp group. So in case you have questions, maybe after that I pop out, you can drop that question on the group. I will be able to pick them up. Chino, so you still have another question? Your hand is raised, please.
Yes, please. Okay, I just wanted to clarify, is there a difference between the test summary report and the test closure report? Are they the same thing, or just are they different, or it's just the
Yes,
terminology?
they are the same thing. It's just tautology. Yes, they are the same thing. I mentioned that we have test summary reports, test completion reports, test closure reports. So it depends on where you find yourself or the organization you find yourself. I work in an organization where it's being called test summary report, and I work in an organization where it's being called test closure reports. Right? But it's still the same thing. It's just a report that is being issued after you finish your execution. So that's just basically it's the same thing.
All right, thank you so much for the Thank you.
Okay, Adeshola and Chinoso, you guys are on fire today. Okay, shoot, Adeshola.
All right. Is there any helping tools to help to calculate this, or we are going to do it manually?
Sorry, I didn't get your question.
Like when you are
Is there
trying
any
to any tools that help in calculating the defect, like for instance now you are running a regression test to check a module after the release of maybe some text cases, and like 50 passed, 40 failed, 80 not really a blocker, and you have to blocker. Is that a kind of AI tools that will help us to calculate this automatically? We're going to do all this calculation manually ourselves as a QA team.
Okay, so if there AI, well, I'm sure there might be, but I don't know. But for presently, what most of us use, we use our Excel sheet. So that means you have to be very good in your Excel sheet, right? So the first page can be your summary dashboard, while the other workbook will be where you have your test cases highlighted. You have your test ID, your test case itself, then the status and what have you. So from there, you can now link it up. You can get your data of your summary dashboard from your other workbook. So as you're passing it or making it a field test case, it's automatically updating on your other workbook. That's the dashboard itself. So you have to be good in your Excel the calculation, I would say, right? So and your Excel also can and once you are done, your Excel you have your pictorial view also on your Excel. So you can select the data you want a pictorial view for. So the Excel will automatically convert it to maybe a pie chart or what's it called, or bar chart also. So you can use Excel sheet. But if you are not good with lookup or calculation on your Excel sheet, so you have to be, you can still use Excel, but you have to be now manually counting it 1, 2, 3, 4, then go and put it there 1, 2, 3, and 4, 1, 2, 3. This, so it might be very tasking, right? But if you are good in the Excel, just to linking one sheet to the other to call the data from the other sheet, it's a very good tool that you can use. AI tool, I'm not sure aware of it, and I will not say if there is. I will not say there is none, right? And I will not say there is. So I'm not too sure of that AI tool. You know, AI is always coming up with so many things, but that's another thing for me to actually research on. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. I was just looking for a scenario, but you have a larger number of data to input, like you're working in a waterfall system now. You have like 500 test cases. So it's going to be somewhat tiring when I'm using that manually. That's why I asked that question. Be kind of curious, something that will aid speed and accuracy. That was why I asked. Thank you very much for your feedback.
Yes, you're welcome.
Well done, Mr. Akinbola. So, do we
Thank you.
have more questions, or people don't want to ask questions today? Like Mr. Akinbola has said, okay, Faith has a hand raised.
Hi,
Faith,
good
you
day.
can go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, good day, everyone. I trust everyone is doing well. I don't really have a question. I just wanted to say that thank you very much for these sessions. Today, I wish I could have been more interactive as I'm used to being interactive. However, I am listening from work, so there are some parts that I couldn't listen to because I was busy. However, thank you very much for taking your time and teaching us. I will watch on YouTube to catch up, and I'm grateful to the fact that there's a WhatsApp group chat whereby can ask our questions. So I will definitely ask my questions regarding today's session.
All right, Faith. Thank you for the feedback. Do watch the video, comment, like, and ensure that it's right. So sorry for that interruption. So please just read comments and ask questions on the group chat. So any other questions from anyone? Okay, so if there are no
Okay, I guess Abiola mic be network to us. Gone. So I guess we have another session for 2:30 today. So maybe we should go and prepare for that. Okay, Nike, are you back? Hello, Nike.
Yes, I'm back. Can you hear me? Am I audible?
Yes, we are audible. So we're actually done.
All right.
Question has been asked. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for the class. Please let's drop our emojis to appreciate the effort of our mentor. So thank you for everyone that has participated in this software bootcamp. And the next phase right now is for you to complete your capstone project. So I'll be dropping the capstone project on Monday. Please just endeavor and ensure that you participate and treat it with all seriousness. Like I mentioned in the chat, I know if there are opportunities out there, it's only those people that attempted the assignments and the capstone projects that I know that, yes, they are really serious to engage and build a career path in software testing. So I wish you all the best, and I will continue our engagement. Please just follow Quality Techies on YouTube. You can drop your comments, likes, and subscribe as well. So see, for those who are interested in joining, there's another class by 2 p.m., which is an introduction to JavaScript. If you feel you're strong and ready enough, you can jump on the class, but don't forget, keep building your portfolios. You can reach out to me, mentors, WhatsApp, if you have any questions, clarification. Thank you once again, and see you on WhatsApp, and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye.